Avengers: Infinity War is the beginning of the end, the conclusion of Phase 3 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, a universe which began a decade ago with the first Iron Man. Before you watch this all-superheroes-on-deck culmination of the many films that came before, here's what you need to know going into it. Tony Stark, aka Iron Man, technically retired at the conclusion of Age of Ultron, but came out of retirement during Captain America's Civil War to convince his teammates to sign the Sokovia Accords, a document putting the Avengers under the control of the United Nations. Some did, some didn't, and by the end of that film there was a huge wedge driven between our heroes, with some even imprisoned for their resistance. Tony continued to serve as the public face of the Avengers, and tried to recruit young Peter Parker, Spider-Man, as the newest member, only to be rejected, with teenage Spider-Man sticking to his New York neighborhood for now. At present, Tony's splitting his time between Stark Industries, representing the Avengers, and his relationship with Pepper Potts, who graciously took him back after an unfortunate breakup. Steve Rogers, aka Captain America, is currently a wanted fugitive. See, he refused to sign those Sokovia Accords that Tony was pushing for, and after fleeing in order to defend his best friend Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier, he quit his role as Captain America, giving up the shield and going underground. He was last seen helping Bucky enter cryosleep in the nation of Wakanda until his friend could get his unfortunate habit of being possessed by Nazi code words under control. Speaking of which, Bucky Barnes is busy trying to make sure he's never going to be anyone's pawn again, after decades spent as the Winter Soldier, during which he was brainwashed and doing the bidding of the evil secret organization Hydra. He broke free and accompanied Steve Rogers to Wakanda. Meanwhile, Thor, after an unsuccessful search for the Infinity Stones, immense sources of power, was kidnapped by intergalactic forces and teamed up with Bruce Banner, aka the Hulk, to escape and get back home, where he had to put down his vengeful sister Hela, sadly destroying Asgard in the process. He's currently trying to ferry the remaining citizens of Asgard to safety on Earth, but their ship was interrupted by a much bigger and more threatening one. Since we just mentioned him, it's worth noting that the Hulk abandoned Earth a while back, feeling like there was no longer any place for him there. He remained in his big green form for some time until Thor showed up and convinced him to transform back into the very human Bruce Banner. It's strongly suggested that if he keeps turning into the Hulk, Banner might not be able to become himself again. Nonetheless, he reverted to Hulk once more to help Thor defeat Hela, and was last seen with the rest of Asgard traveling to find a refuge home on Earth. Natasha Romanoff, aka Black Widow, joined Tony Stark to try and convince the rest of the Avengers to sign the Sokovia Accords, but when that went south, she entered the fight to try and subdue Captain America and his allies. However, she also didn't feel like capturing them, letting Steve Rogers and Bucky escape. Currently, she's presumably doing her own thing, just as she always does. Wanda Maximoff, aka the Scarlet Witch, was also last seen in Captain America: Civil War, where she joined with Cap and others in refusing to sign the Accords. She was captured during the ensuing fight and sent to an underwater prison facility along with her fellow resistors. However, the last time we saw them, it looked a lot like Steve Rogers was breaking them out. And let's talk about her fellow prisoners. Scott Lang, aka Ant-Man, Sam Wilson, aka the Falcon, and Clint Barton, aka Hawkeye, were also captured and sent to jail during the fight over the Sokovia Accords. Presumably, they're right alongside Wanda, having been busted out of jail by Steve. However, it's not clear how much they'll be involved in Infinity War, especially Ant-Man, who has to get right back to work because he's starring in Ant-Man and the Wasp, which comes out just a few months after Infinity War. The Vision is the half-human, half-synthetic man created during the fight with Ultron. He fought on the side of Iron Man and Law & Order during the events of Civil War, but was always reluctant to do battle, especially when it came to Wanda. Right now, he's probably still busy with his day-to-day duties as an Avenger. One of our newer heroes is Dr. Stephen Strange, a former surgeon who lost the use of his hands in a car crash and now studies the mystical arts as a protector of Earth against other realms and magical threats. After he saved the planet from Dark Dimension bad guy Dormammu, he took up a position in Manhattan, keeping an eye on interplanetary threats. Even meeting with Thor to make certain Loki was no longer a problem. If a creature from another world is threatening Earth, he'll be one of our first lines of defense. Hey, remember those crazy outer space kids known as the Guardians of the Galaxy? Well, after having a big fight where they killed Peter Quill's dad, a literal living planet, they're back off gallivanting across the universe, though the trailer for Infinity War strongly suggests they're about to have an unexpected meeting with Thor. Lastly, there's Black Panther. Marvel's newest hero spent the events of his own movie fighting off a challenger to his throne as the ruler of Wakanda, and by the film's end, he's decided to reveal his country's advanced technology to the world. It's still kind of a secret to everyone but his own people that he's also a superhero called the Black Panther, but maybe that will change once he starts fighting this guy. That's right, Thanos, who first appeared at the end of the original Avengers, is the big villain that all these films have been teasing through the years. Even though he also kind of looks like the big purple reject from the WWE, Thanos has also been seeking the Infinity Stones that Thor was trying to find, and Infinity War is his big coming out party. Does he get the stones and bend the universe to his will? Does he kill any of our beloved heroes? Does he punch someone really, really hard? We'll find out when Avengers: Infinity War comes out, April 27th.